Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Troy.
And I'm Ben-Jamin Toy.
We're broadcasting from the Cohesion Culture headquarters in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, where even when it rains, the sun still shines.
You're going to hear real-time stories from leaders confessing their most crucial or recent experiences in business.
Learn what their cost them, steps they took to fix it, and how they planned
to not do that one again. All right. Welcome, cohesive leaders. We are with Mathias Lemos Castillo. All right. Our audience wants to know, share something with us that is not on your resume.
Love that question right off the bat. Thank you, Benjamin, and thank you, Dr. Troy, for having me on. My name is Mathias Lemos Castillo, and the one thing that's not on my resume right now is I love to play the ukulele. And funny enough, it's right here behind me. But I won't pull it out.
Oh, no, maybe we should have you pull it out. So what's your favorite song to play?
You know, it's so funny because I've been toying around with this one little tune from an old episode of SpongeBob, where's the little, it's their iconic little dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. No, it's like 3 chords, really easy, but it's a good, it seems like Benjamin's jamming to it. You might know which one, but I was playing that. Other than that, happy birthday. I really choose it for, birthday celebrations because it's a nice little, you can carry it everywhere. It's not as big as the guitar.
Well, one of my favorite songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I love the version on the ukulele when they do it. It just has such a melodic kind of feel islandy, and it's a good spot.
What was your motivation for learning, and how long have you been playing?
Yeah, I started with the guitar about 14 years ago. Sprung into the electric guitar, and then once I kind of got a hang of those, I was like, well, I don't want to do the bass, but I saw a ukulele, and it was in a trip, actually, funny enough, in rural Wisconsin. This man made them handmade, and it has, here, I'll show you, actually. I'm going to pull it out. It has this really beautiful sun engraved in it, and it just called me out, so I was like, well, I'm gonna grab an ukulele, and it's handmade by a local person in the town. Why not? So that's really what got me intrigued. And I was in Hawaii earlier this year, and I bought a little ukulele book. So I'm hoping I can get some more Hawaiian tunes later on this year.
Really sweet. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. That's a little bit of what we call connection before content. And now we want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah. And we want to start this by asking characters or behavior traits that you're known by, that your friends would describe you as, or that you're aspiring to be known as. Then it's followed with roles and titles you have and things you do. We want to know who you are as a person first, and then the things you do.
Oh, love that question. Great start. I'm a people person, and folks know that. I think it's really the smile, the being able to hold the space for people, and being able to make those critical connections. When challenges have come up, I'm known for my can-do attitude. Definitely love be able to, I believe that challenges make life interesting, and you can always overcome them in some sort of way. And if you're not, there's always a lesson behind them. So how do we find the lesson? And more professionally now, I guess, just to kind of name it, I run my own business. I'm a consultant, MLC Consulting. It does stand for my name. It also stands for the 3 values that really resonate on the work that I do, which are mobilize, listen, and connect. And I've been doing that for 4 years.
I mean, it's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect for us. This is exactly what we do. We love to create those connections. So thanks so much for giving us a little insight to you. Really, it gives us a chance to understand who you are as a person and not worry about being so defined by your roles. So many of the individuals who are listening to us today tend to be defined by the roles that they make and not necessarily embrace who they are as a person. So part of being that cohesive leader is making sure that you are bringing forth who you are as a person into the roles that you play, and make sure that you're really looking at that. So it's, I believe you said mobilize, listen, and connect.
Spot on, Dr. Troy.
So
Okay, great.
to me, the idea of mobilizing is being fluid, but I'd love to hear your definition of what mobilize means.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Going off
question.
topic right now, but I want to hear that.
Yeah, definitely being fluid, but how do we bring people together? Whether it's in person, whether it's virtually, how we're doing it now. I believe in both. Over meals is my favorite personally. I think you can learn a lot about folks from breaking bread, very biblical, no? And when you're finding that community, that why are we here, and really centralizing that, which leads into the listening portion, right? How do we listen to each other, and ultimately how do we build those connections?
Yeah.
Kind of just
So the
you need
mobilize
those
is it's the delivery. It's the
Yep.
way you're going
All
to
over the
bring people
place. Yep.
together. Then you listen to them. After you bring them together, then you connect with them because you found out something about them, which is why we do connections before content, to give
Mm,
you an opportunity to know who you are as a person before we just start jumping into the topic at hand. But we're ready to jump into the topic at hand
Absolutely.
now, I think.
So, Matthias, share a, an example or a story when you messed up. You had an uh-oh, and that was you personally, that you it was your fault, and we want to hear the story.
Love the question, and it happened to me just recently, a couple months ago. I'm a facilitator, and I have been working virtually on and off for about 6 years now, so I know all about computer problems and when to detect them. That being said, I rushed into a presentation recently talking about board members and board recruitment, and I'm talking to, board chairs, possible board members for an organization here statewide. And I had this weird pop-up come up on my computer, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to ignore it. I shouldn't have, because come to find out midway through the presentation, my uh-oh is that my computer, funny enough, sitting right here now, shut down on me in the middle of this presentation with, really, really interested people in the topic around how do you recruit board members and build that efficiency. Uh,
So
should have been
how
more
did you
aware.
handle? Okay,
Oh yeah,
so how did you handle it?
how did I handle it? This is one of those moments where you really need to move fast on your feet. Thankfully, I had a second computer, something that was just sitting there, and I decided, okay, this computer's done. I need to unplug all my monitors. So I have two monitors right here. Pretty easy setup. My microphone, unplug everything real quick, switch the computer, plug everything back in, jump back on Zoom, and pull up the presentation. So it all took me in the moment of miracle, honestly, about a minute and a half, real quick. I jumped out. Everybody was wondering what happened to him. Swapped the computer real quick, stopped everything, pulled up the presentation. Thankfully, I had it up from the night before that I was working on it, and just fine tuning it. Not a thing that I would recommend, but I learned from it and plugged everything back in just to jump back into the conversation and said, hello, I'm back, and continue.
So many people don't have a second laptop. What would be suggestions or options to remedy a situation like that if they don't have a second laptop?
Yeah, this is my learning, because I should have. Many times you're able to send the content beforehand, and I recommend people, if you have a co-lead, someone that you're working with, uh, client-wise, right? Send the content to them so they can have it. Because the last thing was everybody shut up in their computer on their screen. And I think the beauty about our cell phones is that if you don't have a computer, but someone else has your content, you can still pop up on your cell phone, on your setup, and continue the show. But I think the hardest part for me was really that I was doing it alone. And typically, I recommend two people are good
Yeah.
because right here in this setup, you have three. But if
Yeah.
Dr. Troy loses connection, Benjamin, you can jump back in, or vice versa.
And we've had
Well,
that
we've had
happen.
that on the podcast.
Yeah, we've had it happen.
A phone overheated, so we just kept on going with the conversation. They jumped back in, and it was great.
Yeah, so in this case, it was the guest whose phone overheated. And so Ben-Jamin and I just continued to keep talking and carrying on the conversation, and they joined right back in, just like nothing had happened, kind of moved it over. So I want to know, like, what was going on inside your head, because I have been in a similar situation where I have technology issues that make it confusing. How did you stay calm?
Oh, great question, Dr. Troy. And I definitely had the first thing that came to my mind was the name of this podcast. What? Surprised. I was shocked, honestly. And then I realized, oh, this message. That's what I should have paid attention to. The computer it's an old computer, I'll say. I definitely worked it out into now probably the ground. It hasn't turned on since. Uh, and I said, well, there's people waiting for you. You gotta get back in there, Matthias. What's quick? I looked at my phone, but I also looked at the laptop. So I said, well, great, I have a laptop here. And Benjamin's point, sometimes you don't have that accessible, but thankfully I did. I was lucky enough that it was right there, plugged it in, and pulled the presentation back up. Definitely when I came back, I think this is one of those moments in leadership where you realize you just gotta say, I had technical difficulties. Let me jump right
People
back in where
understand
we
that.
left off.
Oh,
Huh?
perfect. So you acknowledged the break in the communication, but you didn't spend a lot of time on it. You just went right back in.
Oh yeah, jump right back in. I mean, I only had 45 minutes to do this presentation. I wasn't going to spend more time, and then technical difficulties are scary. I mean, and thankfully we gone through COVID, and there were many moments of technical difficulties there that kind of prepare you for these.
Hmm.
And all of those moments just brushed back into my head and said, okay, how do you jump back in? Really, it's that bouncing back and being able to do it smoothly that by the end, one of the people was like, I almost forgot that you dropped off midway conversation. It's
Yeah.
just being able to
Perfect.
acknowledge it and move.
Would also say having your information on the cloud some way so it's accessible. You can text somebody a link, do a quick email with that. That's helpful. Um,
But,
oh,
but I think one of the things that we can take from
yeah,
this is you don't wallow in the mistake. Like, you don't have
right.
to keep going over and over again because you might have a point of embarrassment for yourself. Um, it's almost like they tell you in acting when you do a program, no one knows the script better than you do. So if you make a mistake, you roll with it and kind of keep moving along. And you don't want to focus on that break, but acknowledging it. That's what I loved.
Yeah.
He actually acknowledged that there was a technology challenge and then moved right back into the conversation and kept it moving. It's excellent.
The show must go on, Dr. Trey.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Did it cost you anything though? Like the mess up or whatever?
Honestly, I was able to laugh about it, funny enough. It didn't cost me anything, thankfully. I know for some folks it might have been, but I think it's it's the ability to just name it, laugh, things are under control. I'm back is a really good way to tell your audience that, oh, you had this shocking moment and it's okay. You bounce back, you keep going. Other than my laptop, right? It definitely cost me that, but thankfully I had a second one. And I think the piece that was for me, it was like, oh, I knew I should have definitely sent the presentation. So if I dropped off, they could at least kept reading what was on the slide, or be like, oh, maybe he froze. But that was my takeaway, because I know oftentimes someone's asking you on the other side, hey, can you send this ahead of time or a PDF? Please lean into it. I think you never know when it might actually save you some time. Because then, again, I could have jumped back into my phone, continue, and said, "Hey, could you click next for me?" My computer froze on me, right? Again, acknowledging the moment and acknowledging I'm not in the position to continue doing it myself, and I have support.
Yeah.
The question though, this doesn't matter in the big scheme, but it's curious. Was it a Mac or a PC?
Oh, it was a Mac.
Okay, that's interesting. There's actually a situation from the TV show Space Force where John Malkovich, they're launching into space, or there's an asteroid coming or something, and somebody couldn't handle something because his computer decided to restart in the middle of a launch. And he yells an expletive, Microsoft.
Uh,
And Microsoft has actually changed how they allow system critical updates that require you to acknowledge their restart because of that TV show. So that's, it's funny, those situations can have bigger impact for other people. Think about doing a launch,
Yeah.
trying to fight an asteroid. So in the
oh
big
yeah.
scheme of things.
Yeah. So taking this particular experience, so just kind of recapping a little bit. So you had this moment where you're doing this major presentation, big deal for you, board of directors, people of importance, and you have some information that's coming your way, and you ignore that information, continue to go on. Then you have this dead screen in front of you. Then you have to figure out what you're going to do. You luckily within a short period of time reconnect yourself, you get going, acknowledge that you had a technology, and then you just moved right through it. So I think that's pretty incredible how that actually all played out.
I would actually tie that into the concept of squashing the ants that we talk about, the
Yes.
automatic negative thoughts. And you could have dwelled on it, but you went into solution mode. Let's figure the other stuff out afterwards. Let's get the presentation done and just go and not get hung up on it. Because you could have said, "Oh, I'm screwed," and been done, sent an email, and who knew what the long-term effect would have been for that board of directors, the company you were consulting with, and all that. But you got it out of the way and got to the goal line.
Okay, and so I know everyone's listening and they go, okay, that was really great. You recapped all that stuff, but they want to know the end of the story. Did you get business?
Definitely have some folks that were interested in continuing the work, and board of directors or something that nonprofits, for profits, volunteer organization have. So it's something I'm very passionate about, and yes, I did end up being able to get some business out of this work.
Good.
It's
I
also
know that
something I'm very
I know people
passionate
would,
about.
yeah, people would have been wondering like, okay, so you talked about all that stuff, but what's the end of the story? So we need to make sure we wrap that up. So yeah. What are some things that you would offer, like knowing that the people who are listening to us are individuals who sometimes become, again, dissatisfied with their current employer because they're not getting the kind of training and development they need. They're being passed over for promotion. They don't have a plan for success. What are some words of advice that you received early on in your career that would help you maybe overcome a couple of those, the two issues that I brought forward?
Yeah, I like to think around something an old mentor of mine told me back in college, and focusing on, are you wanting to sell a service or a product? And how do you lean into that? And personally, for me, I more of a service. My work is working with people, and that's really what led me into the field that I'm in. I not much of, I'm gonna sell you a mug. Or I used to be a banker back in the day, and what would bankers sell you are credit cards, right? I kind of had that sense of, I like to sell more of the service. And for folks that are thinking, I don't really know where I'm in this job, or I'm not sure if this is really aligning with my purpose. I would say check what you're doing right now. Is it providing a service, or is it providing a product? And if the one that you're doing right now doesn't align, try the other one. Try selling a product. Try selling a service that you're really good at, and um, develop it. There's this concept that I really enjoy, ikigai. Have you all heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So tell me about your mindset. How do you get your mindset focused? So if you're thinking about this career that you may want to move to, and so I get that it could be a product or it could be a service, but the mindset seems like it makes a big deal. So how do you prepare your mindset for this career that you've now taken on?
Yeah, I love the concept of a growth mindset, which if you go anywhere now, everybody's talking about it. It's been something that I've been engaged in numerous years, and I think it's more of the how do you keep yourself in the present, where you're at now, and what can you handle with the opportunities. And again, not seeing the challenges as the challenges, but seeing the challenges as opportunities to grow and turning those around. If you're seeing that this is a moment to pivot, that's totally fine too. And having a mindset to be able to move quickly is really, really important. I mean, you saw in this presentation that I was giving, that's one of those moments where you have to pivot and move just because you want to get to the end goal. And for folks that haven't had that opportunity, challenge yourself, go into your growth zone and try to steer away from that comfort zone. It's very easy to sit, comfortably, but what are you doing day to day to challenge yourself that is training you something new? And it's not just to train, it's because the moment comes up that, you know, your Wi-Fi shuts down or your computer shuts down, that you need to move quickly, that's when you put those skills into action, right? It's not because you're going to use it daily, it's because that moment will arise and you're ready for it. So the mindset is really, what is it that I'm using right now to prepare for a future situation, or just learning something new. And this is totally not on the resume part too. There's a lot of mindfulness decks or rest decks. I personally have one here I like to do, called Mindfulness Essential, for folks that are interested, and read something new. It's something that is completely outside of my realm, but it has helped me to be able to pivot in moments. You'll be surprised.
Good. It's good.
Awesome. Matthias, how would the guests that want to learn more about you get a hold of you?
Yeah, very active on LinkedIn right now. My website, consultantmlc.com, is live. And we'd love to connect with folks, reach out. Definitely love to learn about people's work and how they might see themselves being, that agent of change in their communities.
That's great. And now we're not done yet. So I wanted to just go back. Got another thing I want to follow up with you on, and then we're going to ask you a question that we typically ask here at the closing. So you talked about the growth mindset, but you said it's about being in the moment. And I had this theory that says that you can't be a victor of your future if you're held captive by your past. And the idea to get to the future always comes from the present, not from the past. What keeps you in the present so that you don't get yourself wallowing in what happened before? How do you get yourself to stay in the present so you can get to the future?
Yeah, great question, Dr. Troy. As a facilitator, I always like to think around where my feet are and look there, focus on that and realizing that you move forward. Things happen, and you just can dwell. I'm not on the mindset of trying to dwell. We'll come back to it and reflect on it, right? And in the moment of facilitation, someone may say something, someone may uh, spin the conversation into a different direction. And I always like to think, okay, where are we at and how do we focus on what needs to happen or where we're going, and guide folks back into,
Yeah, I
wherever
think
that goal was.
I think it takes self-confidence is what it is. I think that's what you exude from, this conversation, is that you have a lot of self-confidence about yourself. You don't allow yourself to get thrown by things that may not necessarily be exactly the way you saw it. And you have enough confidence in yourself to realize that you can pivot in the moment. Not everybody can do that, right? You have to, but you can do it but not everybody does it. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Not everybody does it, but everybody can do it, because it truly is a matter of really doing some programming within your brain to allow yourself not to be flustered, to use techniques like take a deep breath, count to 5,
Mm-hmm.
think through the situation just for a moment, give yourself a chance to think before you just simply take one action after another. So we're really good there.
And to
So Ben,
Benjamin's earlier point, if you don't mind me adding, being fluid, move like water,
oh,
mobilizing is being fluid.
I
It's
love it.
being able to navigate that.
Yeah, mobilize with water.
Oh, yeah.
You see how I worked that in? See how I did that? Okay. All right. So, Matthias, one of the things that we want to ask you is, what was a question you thought we would ask you that we didn't?
What was the question? Ooh, you see, I had to pass on that one because I thought you were, oh, actually, I thought you were going to ask me around, what projects is it that you're kind of engaging in right now that I've allowed you to kind of engage this technique of, moving like water?
Okay. So let's assume that is the question and you only have 1 or 2 minutes to answer it. What would you say?
Huh. Well, it's different than board of directors. Currently working on electric vehicles and how people can adopt them. And it's interesting because you get a lot of moments from moving like water and trying to get folks to adopt EVs. There's a big T right now, but moving aside from that, like how do you engage with that conversation, especially with underrepresented folks and centering their experiences and how they would see themselves adopting it? It's been really fun. I still a work in progress right now, but there's a lot of moments where I think around, I'm giving presentations. Let me make sure I'm sharing my content with my partner, organization, or the folks. So I'm not the only one that holds everything, but someone else can hold it with me. So that's where I'm at. Okay, I think that's a minute.
That's good.
Yeah. For whatever reason, this conversation though brings up the old quote that I've heard in the past. Though there are 3 types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. And so it's
Mm.
great to be the people who make things happen, and that's what I took away from your experience.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us, giving us these conversations for these cohesive leaders. We really do appreciate it. We know that we can connect with you on LinkedIn. Spelling of your last name, for those who may not get it, is Castillo. And so that we should be able to connect with you. So we're happy to do that. Like, we close out all of our Cohesion Culture programs with this simple mantra, and it's something that we use as a way to remind folks how to gear their thinking, and that is, you don't have to know everything.
You just need to be teachable.
Oh.